and was back in the fight 3 weeks later. He was shot in the chest plate 3 times by ISIS in a unilateral strike, that they ended up winning. That's the kind of guy that almost every one of these commandos, special forces, KKA, were and are. And the level of trust and loyalty and love between them and their American advisors, that was one of the hardest things to write in this book, was to put it into words. All you're really doing is you're shifting the moral responsibility onto the backs of veterans.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
And these are men and women who've already given plenty.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna say no. And that's, to me, like, how could you do that?
Why do you think they're amassing in Afghanistan from all these other countries?
Well, it's the perfect safe haven. If you're going to have a global terror threat projection, if you're going to fulfill on that narrative of bringing unprecedented violence to the West like you saw on 9/11, 2001, you have to have a safe haven that gives you the ability in an unfettered, uninterrupted way to plan, prepare, project, train, and refit. And Afghanistan is the ultimate safe haven in that regard, because their government is an Islamist government. They have a soft spot in their heart for anything that is anti-American, that is terrorist in nature. They support it, and they're showing that openly right now. Now, even though we have a Doha agreement that says if you do that, we're coming back in, that what we're seeing from this administration is no indication that that will happen. Just grilled into you. And our operators for decades worked off that. I have your back. And it was just understood. So if a commando unit went in on a mission, there were SF guys right there at their shoulder. If the KKA went in on a mission, there were Rangers or SEALs right there at their shoulder. Like, it was just understood. And then all of a sudden, really under 2 political administrations, this desire to just get out of the country, to get out of the war, completely dismissed these deep relationships that were in place, and frankly, that we bled for 20 years, so that we didn't have another 9/11, so that we wouldn't have to rely on the over-the-horizon attacks that failed so miserably to prevent 9/11. We had built this ground intel network. We had built these phenomenal partners. Now, granted, the larger Afghan army and the police raft with corruption. You're going to live next to me. We're going to be neighbors. I remember saying that.
You said that.
I did, because I needed to say something that would just give him some kind of hope. But then and he kind of laughed. He has this hyena-like laugh, this little high-pitched laugh, and he's like, "Okay, sir." And we hung up the phone, and I just looked at my wife, and I was like, "What did I just do?" I just made him a promise that I don't know if I can keep it. And my wife said, "You'll keep it. You'll figure it out."
She backed you.
Oh, 100%. And we had tried so hard to put the war behind us with our play and everything else that we had done. I didn't want to get involved in this thing. I really didn't. But at that point, I knew I was in, and I was in pretty deep.